Hi, Blitz here. So, this is just going to be like a 7-minute video talking about my decision process as to what this long play is going to be. Now, this long play is going to basically be KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2. The significant differences between the two games is that KOTOR 2, you start off with your Jedi class. The first game, you start off with your subclass. There's also 2 different endings for every class. Including a crappy ending, like a very bad ending where if you accidentally kill any of the Jedi Masters, you get the worst ending in the game. You don't even get the ability to train a student, which is horrible. So the second game is probably going to take twice as long to record as the first. Also, genders matter more in the second game, where the female characters get the disciple, the males you get her. You get the handmaiden. So you get a different companion based upon your gender. That's why there's 6 different beginning options, but in the first game there was only 3. Now, I will say that as far as the classes go, the Jedi classes in the game, there's only really 2 classes that are broken, and it's the Guardian and the Consular. The Sentinel is so bad in the game that I had to abuse a lightsaber mechanic, and we'll get to that later. But basically your Guardian is going to get more HP, less force powers. Your Consular is going to get more force powers, less HP. However, if you do the Soldier subclass in the first game with the Consular, and then you set your stats to being high dexterity, high wisdom, it's almost impossible for the Consular to die. So the Guardian can't die because it can just tank everything, especially if you do Soldier Guardian. I didn't do that. I instead opted for a more broken version, which is the Scoundrel Guardian, which, if you don't know what that does, you have the sneak attack damage bonus plus the force jump on the Guardian, and you'll see that once we get to it. But basically, this is why the Consular is broken though. You can just have all your points in wisdom and dexterity. There's also a perk in the second game which broke it even harder, called the finesse, which adds either your dexterity or your strength attribute, whichever is higher, to your attack roll. So what that means is once I get a lightsaber, I will never miss. I'm always going to be doing damage. It's just impossible to miss, and they can't hit me in response. Dexterity, wisdom, those 2 attributes are actually broken in the second game. In the first game, all it really affected was your defense. Now the lightsabers, for example, the lightsabers are kind of a mixed bag. As you just saw, the double-bladed lightsaber in the second game got a 4-point damage buff. However, the short sabers in the first game, a 25 plus 25 to hit. Oh my god, look at this. He's got a longer stick and he's still getting his butt kicked. That doesn't make any sense. So, not only does he have a reach advantage, but he's still getting wrecked. If that doesn't tell you that the short sabers in this game were broken, I don't know what to tell you, but the short saber is arguably busted. You can never miss. You're always going to be doing damage of some type, unless their dexterity stat is through the roof, which, of course, the final boss has to have max stats. So, you can just sort of see that it's going to shift to the next stage. I won't even need a med kit. I don't even need any more sabers, even like a better stuff. I don't need it until the very end. And the amount of time I put into this game is pretty ridiculous, but like I said, I went Scoundrel with Jedi Guardian, Dark Side ending, my Jedi Consular. I think I used not the Scout, but the other one. Well, I think it's the Soldier, yeah, the Soldier with the Jedi Consular, and then I did the Scout with the Sentinel, and that's because the Scout in the first game gets essentially all 3 implant levels in the first game, whereas in the second game you have to put perk points into it, so they kind of nerfed the Scout heavily in the game. But the Consular in the second game, like I said, they broke it even harder because of Force Scream and Force Crush. Force Crush, you can't stop it. You're taking half damage or full damage. There is no way to stop taking damage from it. You're always taking damage. And if you have a high enough wisdom stat, you can just obliterate. Now, there is a lot of technical glitches and visual glitches in both games. The way KOTOR 1 tried to deal with this, with the visual quality of the cutscenes, because it's just in 480p, it doesn't go any higher than 480p, is they put a 3D model on a 2D image. And then they would pan the camera back so far, you couldn't tell that that character model was pixelated. But that's a 2D image with a 3D model in front of it.
I have a bad feeling about this.
The way the second game, with the way the Spire did it, as you can no doubt see from the audio, the audio is shit. But look at the pixelation on the monitors and everything. All of the original cutscenes are 480p. You cannot increase the audio, or excuse me, the visual quality, or even, I don't even want to increase the audio. I actually want to dial the audio back. I actually have to go back in and edit the audio and dial it back, because every cutscene, I mean, you can't even talk over this. Every cutscene is like that. Every cutscene is like that. So I have to actually dial back the audio in the second game during the editing process. And don't even get me started with the character models glitching out, being in the wrong position, or the fact that sometimes the game will just outright crash. Like Aspire, the game will crash when you're playing it with the Aspire version on the Switch. So keep that in mind. So for that reason, because of the visual quality of the videos and the cutscenes, I will not be uploading the first game in anything above 480p. KOTOR 2, I might do 720, but KOTOR 1, it's just going to be 480p. Just to fair warn people on that.